So there is something for the age of Aquarius. I think there were a certain group of people who went through a spiritual awakening. And that spiritual awakening, to me, parts of it disguised itself and was placed by the oppressor in order to, it was almost like part of it was a scheme. So there was this video that I watched about the CIA and how they control all media, basically. And this guy was talking about the CIA is controlling this whole age of Aquarius, movement where everybody is spiritually awakening. And at first I was like, no, because it's actually going against the government and the CIA and da-da-da-da. And then the more things just started unfolding for me, I can really see that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of TTALK, where it is you plus me plus a lovely cup of tea. And today we are back with another episode. If you guys are new here, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Nala Asa Shakur, also known as Tyler A. Norman. I am the author of the book Love Starts Here. Okay. If you guys have not read my book, if you haven't seen about it, heard about it, I will link that down below. This book takes you on a life-changing journey of learning what the energy of love is and how we can direct our reality and how we can just make changes within ourselves. So I won't talk about that too much. Also the CEO and owner of the All Natural, which is your one-stop holistic health shop where we provide all your needs for a natural lifestyle. Okay, so now that we're done with promoting and all that, thank you guys for returning to TTALK. If you're subscribed, if you're not, go ahead and subscribe down below on YouTube. Follow us on all podcast platforms. Thank you guys so much for returning, whether you watch every TTALK, whether you watch a few, whether you have shared it, reposted it, anything like that, any support of this podcast. I just want to show gratitude and give thanks, because we would not be growing without you guys, and we would not be growing without our guest, okay? So shout out to our special guest today. I am super excited for the conversation that is going to come up today, just naturally. Right. So tell us about yourself.
Peace and love. My name is Sol de la Luz. I am the creator, founder, inventor of many things. Right now I am focused on, there's just so many businesses, entities, ideas that we're bringing to life. But I would say right now I'm really focused on Food from the Sun, which is my all-natural eating brand, just all-natural livity, coming from being strictly plant-based to now opening up to what it means to be all-natural, to be one with nature. But I've got a few different brands, few different things in the works.
Love that. We at the All Natural love food from the sun, okay? If you guys want to go on the website, check out a few of the recipes, the delicious type of cooking that Sol does here. We have a few of his recipes on our website. If you go to blog, just type in Food from the Sun, type in Sol, all of his blogs will pop up, and enjoy some of that if you want to tap into some of that energy. So all right, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you guys are returning, y'all know how this works. And so we will take 3 deep breaths. I'll kind of guide like a little mini meditation. We'll get into a prayer. I'll also pause after the prayer if you would like to add anything on yourself before we end it in Ashe, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So, all right, cool. All right, everybody go ahead and close your eyes. Relax the shoulders, release any tension from the body. Unclench your jaw. And open ourselves up to receive a message from the divine. All right, we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. Pause. Out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose. Pause. Out through the mouth. One more in through the nose. and roll the head. Unlock any tension. Open our palms to receive divine downloads. Thank you, Mother, Father, Creator. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this space. Thank you for our guest today. Thank you for self. Thank you for 2 is better than 1. Thank you for union. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything that this day comes with. Thank you for this gift of being able to communicate and speak and to download and be a vessel for divine wisdom that we need to hear, and also that anybody watching and listening needs to hear. We pray and set the intention for a message to come through, something that applies to our daily lives, that helps and gives us wisdom and allows us to love ourselves, to love life, and to love others deeper spirit. And we give gratitude for all that we are receiving in this moment.
Thank you for breath. Thank you for life. Thank you for evolution. Thank you for unconditional love. Thank you for this moment, Source.
All right.
Thanks.
Did we do the do not disturb on the door?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so we cutting this right up.
It doesn't matter. It's
Okay, well, I was gonna say,
open.
does this need to be on the table? Because it's just.
It doesn't have to.
What
Just to see the time.
Just to see the time.
Yeah. That's
Okay, how about we do
fine.
this? Let's put it right here, and we can look down, and it's out of our field.
Okay, cool. So we can cut from after I do the meditation.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started today, guys. We're gonna pick some cards and we're gonna see what we're talking about today. So we're gonna pick from the regular tarot. I have something. Oh, the
Let's see
tea.
what you got.
Yes, I
What you
forgot.
got?
First of all, guys, pause this video, pause the podcast if you don't have your tea already. Go grab you some. Today we are sipping on some elderberry hibiscus tea
Come on.
with some raw honey. So
Come on now.
this is going to be amazing for this time of the year, the season that we are in. Elderberry, amazing, boosting the immune system, high in antioxidants, super good for the skin, as well as hibiscus. I love hibiscus. It's like one of my favorite herbs. Super high in antioxidants as well. Also going to help with the immune system, also going to help cleanse the blood. And this is a very grounding tea by the color. So I knew this card was going to come out.
Delicious.
Thank you, thank you. And we've also have some local raw honey in there as well, which just takes it there. Okay, so I knew this card was going to come out. This is why I love pulling cards, because it's like the energy that we're already in, it
Right.
just shows itself. So before I even pulled the cards, I was thinking, changes. That word was changes in my head. And I was like, I think I'm going to pick up there, but I want this card to come out. And that's exactly what came out, change. Another card that came out is Ruin, which is the Ten of Swords. And this card depicts like halfway of a sun coming out from the top, but the card is in darkness, and there's a Ten of Swords inside of the bee's back. And the bee to me is like masculine energy. Bees are like masculine energy, and it's almost like the killing of an old form of masculine, and a new sun is being reborn. That's always what I get from this card.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and that just goes with changes. And then we have surrender. Wow. Wow. Okay, so we'll go off that. First, I want to just talk about those changes. Changes, like I said. One thing that has been spotlighted just in life lately is that nothing is constant but change. And that goes with like just our environment, with the things that we like, the things that we eat, the things that we're attracted to, and also our beliefs, and just the way that we see the world constantly changes. Just like where I've been at in my life, I've been realizing that there are so many things about ourselves that are going to change. Our outlook of life is going to change. Because lately I found myself saying like, nope, I don't want that. And that's just it. It's cut off. I'm not open to it. And that's just it. And I've been realizing like Spirit is whispering in my ear like, hey, remember, you don't know shit. Like, you think you know right now, you think you know, but you don't realize that you have so much more life to go through. You have so much more to learn. There has been so many things that I have yet to experience that will impact the way that we think, impact the things that we believe in, and impact just the way that we move through life, the way that we see things, that are going to constantly change, just like how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive others, and just what we want in our lives. Like, nothing stays the same. And I've actually been reading through my book. I've been reading through like the first chapter, and I kind of started writing that when I was like 19-ish. Mm-hmm. And I was going into what I like to call the spiritually bypassing under like hidden toxic masculine energy that we see as like, oh, everything is love, everything is light, everything is perfect, we're fairies. When I was heading into that, I was just reading the things that I was writing, like, oh, religion is just so like, it's one man's opinion, and it's this, and it's so controlling, and this, and this, and just like going from like, oh, we should never eat death, we should never do this, and we need to keep our minds like completely undistracted, and this, and this, and it's like reading those things now, where I have really just kind of like gone full circle around everything. I'm like, wow, I've changed so much from what I thought I knew back then. But really, I needed to go through all of those things and learn all of those lessons just to come back around to where I was from the jump. And it's just like, wow, now I'm like kind of going back into religion, like, okay, now I can look at these perspectives and ideas and respect them for what they are and incorporate them into my life without being like, oh my gosh, without just resisting everything and being like, I want to be free 100%, like, right. I want to create everything myself. Yeah. You know?
And the pursuit of that freedom actually creates a new box for your idea of what you're seeking.
Exactly. And just looking at everything that I just once thought that I was so solid on. Like, and just to bring up one thing that me and Sol were talking about before we started filming. You know, when I started this journey, this love and light journey, when I first started writing my book and I thought everything was a fucking fairy tale, like, I was on some, like, I'm never eating a piece of meat a day in my life again. Like, I swore by that. Like, right. Truly, I'm vegan for the rest of eternity. Like, and I was just so sure in that moment, but just not realizing, like, I think the point of just all me saying this is, like, to never get attached to any one idea. Never get attached to, like, this is what my diet is going to be. These are what my thoughts are going to be. This is what I'm going to believe in. This is what I'm going to wear. You know, this is how I want my hair to be. Just anything from the simplest things. It's like, this is who I'm going to be with forever. You know, don't get attached to anything. Literally, because everything is constantly, like, changing.
Evolving. Change is nature's way of healing. That's how I see it. Because change is inevitable. Like, everything is in constant change. Everything is moving. Everything is energy. So you can't stop change if you wanted to. And the moment you try to stop change, you're forcing something unnatural.
Yeah, this is true. It's like, I like how you said that. Change is like nature's way of healing itself, because it's like, there's this idea, this phenomenon of like, that we can either go in a circle, just around and around and around again, just spinning around, or we can go in a spiral. And we can go all the way around just to come back and revisit one thing, but each time going higher and higher and higher in our enlightenment, in our consciousness. So it's like, when the seasons change and nature dies, and everything has to die and go through that evolution process just to come back around again, it's the idea that it comes back around again better. Right. You know? And it's not just the same as it was last time, but it's going in an upward spiral. Yeah. And then also, at the same time, the way that nature works, there also has to be a descend. It also has to come in a downward spiral, just to go back up all over again. Right. So I like how you said that. It's like, we have to experience changes. We have to lose things, and we have to disconnect from things that were mirrors of our old self in order to like meet the new self that we truly desire, that's like always been destined to unfold.
Exactly.
You know?
Just had to get a little lost before we could be found.
Yes. And that is so important. And it just goes with the idea of like, there's a quote that I love. Everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And it's like, we have to die first.
Right, literally and figuratively.
Literally.
Come on.
And figuratively.
But then again, to counteract that, because a lot of religions think that heaven is only real after you physically die.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it should be included how, at least from my perspective, in the sacred text, when they mean you have to die, seeing what you're saying right now is some version of you has to die. Not saying you need to leave the earth physically, but your ego, your sense of self, has to transition from this idea of who you think you are to the more that you can be.
Yes. Yes. We have to let parts of ourselves die. And just aligning with nature, a lot of the times, if we want to know if we are in alignment, we just look at where we are with the seasons. Are we in alignment with the seasons? It's fall right now. So we have to look at, are we in a season of releasing? Are we allowing ourselves to let go of things, ideas, people, environments, just possessions? Are we allowing ourselves to release leaves and certain things that aren't serving us in order to die this coming winter? In order to let go of the past version of ourselves that was thriving this past summer?
Right.
Are we in alignment? Are we allowing ourselves to flow with nature? And wintertime, there's something called like seasonal depression that most people are familiar with, just being in, we're more likely to be in a depressed state during the winter. And this may be, you know, a sensitive topic, or people might disagree with this, but to me, I believe it is somewhat natural to not be quote unquote depressed, but to be in that lower energy during the wintertime. Because if you think about it, it's cold, our vibrations are naturally lower, and we are in a process of death. So naturally we get feelings of like, this isn't me anymore. And that's what I think Jim Carrey, he expresses depression is just like our soul expressing that we aren't ourselves anymore. So it's like, if you get that feeling of depression, it's just you're in that natural death process, and your soul is saying like, yep, this person, this shell, it isn't you anymore. And you're still in a process of like letting it go.
Yeah.
And also another thing I want to pick up on, I want to hear your opinion about this too, is that this time of the year, if we get another sensitive topic, so I will, you know, put a warning in there, suicidal thoughts during this season is also yeah, and also natural. And like I said, this is going to be a very controversial conversation.
Yeah.
Some people might disagree. I mean, this might be a trigger for some people, but once again, we are in the season of death during the wintertime. And suicidal thoughts, we have to look at them differently from a more conscious perspective. Like, it's not necessarily this body wants to die, this everything wants to die, this reality, but this version of ourselves is saying, this is no longer for me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and we have to look at it like that, like, okay, my old self is dying. My old self is dying off.
And that's the same as saying, I am being reborn.
Mm-hmm.
Because to die is to be born again.
This is true. And we get reborn every springtime. Every new year we get reborn into a new self. But we had to go through that winter. We had to go through that season of death, that coldness, that silence, that us being in hibernation and being in our inner world to even be able to like sprout new again.
And to even then appreciate the newness of us sprouting. You know, the greatest contrast produces the greatest clarity.
Mm-hmm.
So having to go through the natural winter months where we live on the earth has us hibernating, has our soul going into hibernation mode, which creates that exponential growth for when springtime comes. We're just like that tree, just like that sprout coming out the ground.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay, there's something else that the cards are kind of speaking on to me, that I want to get into and talk about. And then we were kind of talking about it a little bit before. I mentioned it a little bit when I talked about my book. So there is something, for the age of Aquarius, I think there were a certain group of people who went through a spiritual awakening. And that spiritual awakening, to me, parts of it disguised itself and was placed by the oppressor in order to, it was almost like part of it was a scheme. So there was this video that I watched about the CIA and how they control all media, basically. And this guy was talking about the CIA is controlling this whole age of Aquarius, movement where everybody is spiritually awakening. And at first I was like, no, because it's actually going against the government and the CIA and da-da-da-da. And then the more things just started unfolding for me, I can really see that. I can really see how the whole, we're vegan. We don't eat anything. We're 100% like plants, da-da-da-da, the vegan movement, the spirituality. You can meditate everything away. You can pray